Welcome to Exploring Anime with Friends, a JMill for Real podcast on Apple and Spotify. I'm your host, JMill. And let me introduce you to today's friend, Sarah, my wife and co-host.
Hello, everyone.
In today's episode, we will be introducing you to the world of Hunter x Hunter, an adventure fantasy anime with both martial arts and coming-of-age sub-themes. For the purpose of this show, we will be using the 2011 release date. For the next 20 to 25 minutes, we will be exploring the arc of the Hunter exam. First, we will dive into the Hunter exam itself, explaining its purpose and role in the present world. Next, we will meet Gon, Kurapika, Leorio, and Killua, and watch how their bond forms throughout the exam. Afterwards, we will break down some of the obstacles they needed to overcome through the course of the exam, whether it be the course itself or their opponents. Finally, I will rip the band-aid off and spoil some of the results of the exam. Newsflash, not all of the protagonists pass. In the world of Hunter x Hunter, it is really important if you want to do anything big, if you want to adventure, if you want to crime fight, if you want to travel to various places, if you want to make a living fighting or hunting or cooking, you really need to have a hunter's license. And in order to do that, you need to earn it through the Hunter's exam. There are so many crazy things about this world. Let's talk about some of the crazy things in this world. There are exotic places that are completely unexplored. There are animals that defy all logic and reason. A lot of this world is just flat out undiscovered at this point. A lot of this world is a barren wasteland. Not really a barren wasteland, but like an exotic jungle meets a barren wasteland. And some of the parts of the world that are civilized, they're so overrun with crime. There's literally a whole part of the world that is devoted to things that have been trashed, including people that were gotten rid of. So this is really just kind of, it's not dystopian because it's unexplored too, but parts of it are dystopian, parts of it are unexplored. It's really a treasure trove planet. So anything to add to that, like some of the things that a hunter's license would be good for. One of the things is, in order to hunt the most dangerous of all criminals, you have to have a hunter's license. And in order to travel to these unknown parts, you have to have a hunter's license. Anything that you want to add, Sarah, or are you good just going on to our main characters?
I'm good just going on to the main character. You summed it up pretty well.
Yeah. I realize I just kind of set you up poorly there on that one. So my apologies,
No,
my bad.
you're fine.
But, the point is, it's really just kind of a crazy planet. And really, it just kind of feels like everything goes. I know it's more of a little bit of a fantasy setting, but it's an urban fantasy in some part. Honestly, it's just an unexplored wilderness, which is just kind of awesome because it really kind of sets the stage for our main character, or our main characters, because really you don't follow one main character in the series. You follow a group of them. And the first one we meet is Gon. Talk to us about Gon a little, Sarah.
Well, Gon's a young kid, which generally means weaker, maybe not necessarily strong.
12 years old.
12,
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot he looks younger when we were watching it. And he's just going out doing his thing with a fishing rod, and that's really all you see for a little bit there. So Gon's traveling around with a fishing rod, and you're kind of like, well, what's the deal with this kid? And within the first little bit, he just proves that he's not just some 12-year-old doing 12-year-old things. He is like reeling in the largest of fishes, and something like grown men really can't even do.
Yeah, no. Gon definitely has strength, speed, perception beyond his age. He can smell the differences between people, even ones that look exactly the same, which is kind of ridiculous when you think about it. This kid is a actual prodigy, and he's definitely on this because his father was a prodigy before him, and the reason why he's doing this whole thing is his dad abandoned him at birth in order to go into the world and explore. So he wants to know what's such a big deal about being a hunter, and the thing that is drawing him to wanting to get his hunter's license is to follow in the footsteps of his dad so that he can find out what was so amazing about being a hunter that you would give up your child. Kind of tragic.
It is, and the thing that really sets it apart is that, like, he's not doing it maliciously. He's doing it because he's genuinely curious.
Yeah, he knows it has to be awesome to be a hunter, and he wants to know why. kind of crazy when you really think about it. I'm sure a psychiatrist would have a field day with Gon.
Oh, most of the characters in the series.
But yeah, on the ship on the way to the Hunter's exam, which apparently was the first part of the exam, we'll get into that in the obstacle portion though, he meets two people by the name of Kurapika and Leorio. Tell us a little about Kurapika and his motivations.
Kurapika's motivations are good, but not nearly as pure as Gon's.
They're not good.
No, he's doing it for a good reason. He's getting revenge.
Dun dun dun.
That's a good reason, right? Come on, that's a good reason.
Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, doing it for vengeance is a good reason.
Well,
tell us why.
Yeah, his whole clan just got annihilated, but not for fun or anything like that. When
what clan gets annihilated for fun?
That's fair. People have their motives. Like I said, Kurapika's was revenge. When his clan was pretty much decimated, they did it for the eyes. The
Scarlet Eyes.
There we go. That's what it's called. The Scarlet Eyes, which was said to be one of the most beautiful colors in existence. So they're going after the eyes, and his whole clan was just gone, pretty much. So he needs to be a hunter to try to regain. He wants to collect all the eyes so he can really just put his family, his clan, to rest.
Yeah, and the group that took out his family was known as the Phantom Troop, and he wants to hunt them down and kill them too, but the trick with them is they are the most notorious villain group out there, and frankly, in order to even be able to hunt them, in order to be able to get their bounties, you have to have this hunter's license, and you have to become a blacklist hunter in order to be a bounty hunter that even remotely stands any chance of even encountering a troop member, let alone taking one out. But that's for a different arc, because I definitely feel like we will cover the York New City arc in another one of these episodes. But for now, let's jump on to Leorio. Anything about Leorio you want to discuss?
So, probably an unpopular opinion, Leorio is probably my favorite character, to be honest. At first,
I don't think it's unpopular.
Really?
I'm a Kurapika guy myself, but when it comes down to it, Leorio is a really well-developed character, even if he is older and he's kind of serious and he's kind of whiny at times.
He's not older, he's, quote, 16.
He's not no he's quote a teenager, but he's wearing a business suit and carrying a briefcase around with him. I guess he's probably a teenager because it comes up way too often, but at the same time he looks like an old man.
And that's part of the charm, because he says he's a teenager, but he does not look like a teenager. He is head and shoulders taller than everyone else in this whole series. Well, not whole series, but of the younger kids, he's way taller than them. He's got to be in his 20s. He's got to be.
But yeah, no. And the thing that really sticks out to me most about Leorio is he says he's doing it for the money. He just keeps on saying, I'm doing it for the money. I'm doing it for the money. But when it comes down to it, when you really find out, he's not doing it for the money for himself. He's doing it for the money so that he can go to medical school, so that he can save lives, because he lost too many people, too many friends that could have been treated and cured if there was just proper medical attention in his area, which is kind of sad.
Or if he had the money to get the medicine needed.
Yeah, so Leorio wants to be a doctor, and that's why he's doing the hunter exam, because in order to, hunters can earn money a lot quicker. So some of the wealthiest people in the world are hunters. A lot of the top 100 richest people in the world are hunters. So therefore, Leorio's like, I'm going to become a hunter to get money, to go to medical school, to save lives, which is kind of awesome. And complete opposite of what our fourth member is. Now, they don't encounter Killua on the boat. They encounter Killua when they actually get to the first stage of the exam. Anything you want to tell us about your boy Killua? My
boy Killua. Killua's great. I do like him. He's got the assassin background, kind of. But he's
kind of the Zoldycks, Killua Zoldyck. The Zoldycks are the most famous assassin group on the planet. The most famous assassin family on the planet.
That's fair, but he's trying to break apart from that. He's trying to, be better, basically.
Yeah, no, he's trying to be better. He's trying to get out from underneath the rules of the assassin family. And at the end of the day, he's only doing this hunter's exam because it intrigues him. He wants to see how difficult it is. He wants to see how difficult it is and experience the world for himself. So yeah, now we've met all of them, and these four form a very unlikely friendship when it comes into meeting each other, and it's just kind of cool. But, you know, at the end of the day, anything to say about the dynamic of their friendship as a whole?
I mean, they're all very different, which obviously lends itself to some very interesting conversations that they have, and just some interesting hijinks that goes on.
Yeah, but don't just take our word for it. See it for yourself on Crunchyroll. It's home to over 1,000 anime series and simulcast, both Japanese subtitled and English dubbed. So check out this series yourself if you like anything that you're hearing so far. So let's dive right in. These four become friends. What are some of the obstacles that they had to overcome? Well, what is the biggest obstacle of the Hunter's exam, in your opinion? Come on, give it to me. I hope it's the same for both of us.
Well, I know what it is for you. I'm gonna be like very plain Jane about it. The Hunter exam as a whole is the biggest obstacle. There is so much stuff they have to do and avoid and not avoid and be a part of, and it's just the whole thing is crazy. But there's things inside the Hunter exam.
Tampa the Rookie Crusher. Say it with me. Tampa the Rookie Crusher. Oh man. What, like, Tampa, he's taken the exam 34 times?
Yeah.
Never with the intent of passing it. Always with the intent of taking out people who are there for the first time. Or maybe even second time. This guy's sole purpose is to haze the rookies and make sure they don't pass. And how does he start it off? He offers them a drink of friendship.
It might not be soda, you're right. It's a can of something.
It's a can of something. Well, obviously, it's something that is going to hold them back, and it's a powerful laxative.
Oh, great.
But yeah, he definitely tries to trick our group right from the start, but Gon smells the powerful laxative inside of it and says, I think there's something wrong with it, and therefore Kurapika and Lurio don't drink it. And apparently Killua's endured so much poisoning through his life because, you know, he's a trained assassin, that it doesn't affect him at all.
And he just drinks it.
We've seen Tampa crush many of the rookies in the early portion of it, but it really just doesn't end there. On the third phase of the exam, the tower, you want to talk to us a little bit about majority rules?
Oh, the tower, the whole thing with the tower was great. So they end up pretty much randomly getting put in groups. Our heroes get put in a group with Tampa, and they are told to wear these...
The Rookie Crusher.
Our Rookie Crusher. And they have to wear this bracelet. It's like voting system. So you want to go left or right? Well, majority rules. If most people vote right, they end up going to the right. And Tampa's just trying to be a pain in everyone's neck the whole time.
Not really. He's trying to get under Leorio's skin so that Leorio rails the group because he knows Leorio is low-hanging fruit.
That's fair.
But there's specifically something about that tower that I would like to go into further. How about those cool battles in the middle? This tower turns out to be a jail for the most dangerous criminals on the planet. And our heroes have some very cool battles right in the middle of it versus some of the most dangerous inmates. Anything you want to say off of that, Sarah, or...
I mean, it's definitely good stuff. So they have to vote on, like, who goes first, who goes second, and all that wonderful stuff. And Tampa's still just kind of... You're right, he does bait Leorio. Leorio's very passionate, so it's pretty easy to bait him. I can't think of...
Okay, so I'll dive into the specifics without going too deep into it because we're trying to keep these episodes to 20 to 25 minutes for you guys. So what happens is we get to see how strong Kurapika is as a fighter. We get to see how resourceful, intelligent Gon is as a fighter. We get to see how lethal and deadly Killua is as a fighter. And we get to see Leorio stupidly gamble away most of the time that they need to get out of the tower.
Oh yeah, it's all timed.
And Tampa, we get to see how big of a coward he is because he leads off the whole thing with a forfeit.
Yeah.
In the end, though, our heroes find a way to get through, and they beat this stage 3 in time to head on to stage 4, where you're actually hunting the other hunter candidates in the field. And I think this is a good time to bring up Hisoka and Kitarak.
All right, I need to point out one thing real quick, that I started watching Hunter x Hunter first on my break at work, And as soon as I saw Hisoka, I knew you would like him. And then as soon as we see the first episode where you really get to see what Hisoka does, I immediately stopped and I was like, Jonathan has to watch this.
Oh my goodness, Hisoka is one of my favorite characters in anime as a whole. He's the magician. He's the Joker of the series, but he's he's so calculated and meticulous and full of strategy, and he has the bloodlust, and he has the magic card tricks, and he does disintegration and all cool stuff. He is by far the deadliest person in the Hunter exam, but he's so casual and loosey-goosey about it. Really, at the end of the day, that's the thing that really draws me to this character as a whole, because despite the fact that he has as much power as he has, he doesn't, he's not that big of a gloater when it comes down to it, because everything he says just kind of with confidence. And also, he gets very manic at times, especially when he's around Gon or Killua. But I'm not going to go too much further into that. Definitely, when you check this series out on Crunchyroll, you will see why Hisoka is such a great character. And Gitarak, should we talk more about him here, or should we talk about him when it comes to the final segment, the spoilers?
That might be more of a spoiler thing.
Okay, Gitarak shows himself a very capable hunter, and together, the two of them get to the final stage of the exam. Our four heroes get to the final stage of the exam, and they get there with a martial artist, a bow hunter, and, we have to talk about Hanzo a little, right?
That's fair.
But maybe we should use this. Hanzo is a monk who is basically really pure and really powerful. Really freakishly strong. In hand-to-hand, he honestly, without the Nen abilities, which is definitely something that we will get into a lot more in the future. That's not for this podcast, but if you want to talk Nen abilities on our social media, definitely go to the show notes, look for our social media links, and we'll talk more about it. And the Nen abilities of Hunter x Hunter. Definitely do a second Hunter x Hunter episode at the York New City one. And look that up on our Apple and Spotify. Look for Hunter x Hunter York New City. But when it comes down to it, Hanzo might be the best at the hand-to-hand fight, and that leads us perfectly into our final thing that we're going to be covering. We're going to be talking about the results of the Hunter exam.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum. So remember to listen to our podcast on Apple and Spotify, and to follow us on social media. All of that is linked in the show notes. But here we are diving into some hard spoilers now.
Spoiler alert.
Hanzo and Gon meet off in the first round in the final round of the Hunter exam. And these are a series of one-on-one battles. There will only be one loser. Only one person isn't going to get their Hunter's license. And that will be the person who doesn't collect a win before the end of the tournament. In the first round, we have Hanzo versus Gon. Do you want to talk about this a little? Because, no, you don't.
It's been a while for me.
That's okay.
I don't remember the exactness.
So, Hanzo is determined that he's going to make Gon lose. Now, the thing is, if you kill someone, you automatically fail. Everyone else already passes. You have to get that person to surrender. Unconscious doesn't count. Kills gets you disqualified. Obviously gets them disqualified for life. Or death, but it gets you disqualified until the following year. Hanzo does everything. He slices Gon in multiple places. He breaks multiple limbs, but Gon refuses to surrender. After hours of this, Gon eventually wins over the crowd, and everyone is just kind of cheering for him, and you can just see that his resolve is there. Despite the fact that Hanzo is now threatening his life. It's like, I will lose this year, but you'll lose permanently. Gon genuinely doesn't care. Hanzo sees it in his eyes and concedes, because he doesn't want to kill Gon. Gon moves forward and gets his Hunter license there. Now, he blacks out and he has to hear the rest of this secondhand from one of the instructors, but at the same time, Gon officially has his Hunter license. Kurapika gets his Hunter's license in a match with Hisoka. Hisoka surrenders after whispering something in Kurapika's ear. I don't know what he whispered. Actually, we do know what he whispered. He whispers where to find the Phantom Troop. So that's kind of crazy. Really, when it comes down to it, Hisoka finds a way to get a win in another round, and he gets his Hunter's license too. Now we are on the battle with Killua and Gitarak. Talk to me, hun.
So that's one I actually remember more. It was intense. It was definitely intense. You find out, and I'm just gonna jump into it.
We're ripping the Band-Aid off.
Ripping the Band-Aid off. Fwah. So you find out that Ghidorah isn't just this Ghidorah dude that's just there. It's actually Killua's older brother. Illumi. And that just unfortunately completely punks out Killua. It's such a lopsided fight for a little bit there. It's crazy.
And eventually he gets Killua to forfeit. And Killua is now on the sideline, disturbed as anything. Leorio gets up to fight versus the martial arts master. And suddenly, out of nowhere, in the middle of that fight, Killua runs into the fight and kills the martial arts master. Killua, one of our 4 protagonists, gets disqualified. Obviously, the martial arts master is dead, and everyone else passes. And that's how the Hunter exam ends, with Killua leaving the group, and the resolve of Gon, Kurapika, and Leorio to find Killua again. Kind of crazy. How much did that set you back when you saw it?
I was not expecting that, to be honest. That was definitely an interesting twist.
So yeah, once again, we covered what the point of a hunter's license is. We went over how Gon, Killua, Leorio, and Kurapika found each other and became friends. Some of the major obstacles they had to overcome in the hunter's exam, including Tompa the Rookie Crusher. And in the end, we just revealed the results of this hunter's exam because, honestly, kind of felt that I had to. Really, this is my favorite anime of all time. This is number 1 on the list for me, so it is a must-watch in my opinion. How about you, hun?
I mean, it's pretty high up there. I wouldn't count it as my number 1, but it's definitely top 5, maybe top 3. I'd have to really sit down and figure it out.
So if you like what you heard today, make sure to listen to us on Apple and Spotify. All of our podcasts are there. All of the J-Mill for Real podcasts are on there. We will definitely have another episode for Hunter x Hunter up. Check us out on social media and interact with us there. It is linked in the show notes. Until next time, this has been Exploring Anime with Friends, a J-Mill for Real podcast. Let's explore together. Hunter x Hunter York New City will be available July 25th, 2024.